Comfort women were subjected to brutal and inhumane treatment by their captors, who raped them repeatedly and often tortured them. Many of them died or committed suicide due to physical and emotional distress. Those who survived suffered from lifelong trauma and stigma. How did this happen? How did these women end up in such a horrific situation? Well, it all started in 1931 when Japan invaded China and began its expansionist campaign in Asia. The Japanese military set up brothels near their camps to provide soldiers with a sexual outlet. At first, they used volunteer prostitutes from Japan and its colonies, but soon they ran out of supply. So they turned to kidnapping and coercing women from the occupied areas, especially Korea and China. According to testimonies, some young women were abducted from their homes or schools by Japanese soldiers or local collaborators. Some were even lured by their own boyfriends or husbands who worked for the Japanese. These women came from all walks of life. They ranged in age from as young as 11 to as old as 40, but most of them were teenagers. They were taken to so-called comfort stations that were established throughout Asia and beyond. There, they were forced to serve dozens of soldiers per day, sometimes up to 70 or more. They had no freedom or dignity. They were confined to small rooms guarded by soldiers or policemen and given minimal food and medical care. They had to endure physical violence, verbal abuse, and humiliation from their clients and managers. They had no protection from sexually transmitted diseases or unwanted pregnancies. They had no hope of escape or rescue. Some of them tried to resist or rebel against their fate. They fought back against their rapists, attempted to run away or commit suicide, and formed bonds with other women or sympathetic locals. But most of them faced harsh consequences for their actions. They were beaten, mutilated, killed, or punished in other ways. Some of them resigned themselves to their fate. They tried to cope with their situation by numbing their feelings, praying to God, or finding small joys in life, but none of them ever forgot what they went through. They carried the scars of their ordeal for the rest of their lives. The comfort women system lasted until the end of the war in 1945. When Japan surrendered, some of the women were freed from Allied forces or local resistance groups. Some of them returned to their homes or found new places to live. Some of them married or remarried and had children or grandchildren. But many of them faced difficulties in reintegrating into society. They faced discrimination and ostracism from their families and communities. They faced shame and guilt for what they had done. They faced health problems and psychological issues from their trauma. They faced poverty and isolation from their lack of education and skills. They faced silence and denial from the Japanese government and society. They faced fear and anger from their former captors and enemies. They faced injustice and indifference from the world at large. For decades, the comfort women issue remained hidden and forgotten by most people. It was only until the late 1980s that some of the survivors began to speak out about their experiences and demanded recognition and compensation from Japan. They formed support groups and advocacy organizations, held protests and rallies, filed lawsuits and petitions, wrote books and articles, gave interviews and testimonies, built monuments and museums, and sought dialogue and reconciliation with Japan and other countries involved in the war. Their efforts have raised awareness and sympathy for their cause among many people from around the world. They've also sparked controversy and backlash from some people who deny or downplay their claims. The Japanese government has issued several apologies and statements of remorse over the years, but hasn't officially acknowledged or accepted legal responsibility for the comfort women system. It has also offered some forms of assistance and compensation to some of the survivors, but hasn't met their full demands or expectations. The comfort women issue remains unresolved and contentious to this day, as the survivors are aging and dying, and as the relations between Japan and its neighbors are strained by historical and territorial disputes. In conclusion, comfort women are not just victims of the past, they're survivors of the present, they're heroes of the future. They deserve our attention, our compassion, and our action. Thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget to leave a comment down below and let us know what you thought about this topic. See you next time, and bye for now.